So you got a son. What lessons are you going to be teaching your son as he grows up? Like if you were to pick, let's say 4 or 5 real important lessons that you would need to cover in the next 15 minutes, what would you be telling your son as he's growing up? Like what's important to him? Because I mean, you're talking to all these men right now too. I mean,
Yeah.
95% of
Sure,
both
sure,
of our
sure.
audiences are probably men.
Um, don't drink. Okay, drinking is actually the worst addiction, I think. Or be very careful how you drink. Never get
A,
drunk.
a lot of people don't get that alcohol is a drug, though. Like
Yeah,
I've seen people say things like, "I don't hang around people that do drugs, but they're guzzling gallons of like liquors,
yeah,
right?"
yeah.
Like, dude, that's a drug.
I personally think I've done coke, I've done booze. I personally think that booze is worse than coke. Okay, so yeah, I think
I've
that
done both. I don't know that I would agree with that, but yeah,
no, I mean the effect of one is obviously far stronger than the other.
they're
But
both shit. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Um, but okay, handle your booze. Never get drunk. Never get drunk in public.
got
Okay,
it.
never get drunk. Period. But especially not in public. Okay, and when you realize that you're a little bit off, just get off the sauce instantly. Okay, that was first. Number two, read everything, especially nonfiction. Read everything, and you should have a habit of reading, like 50 pages a day or something. It's a great habit. And whatever book you come across, even if you're like sort of like mildly interested, pick it up, read it. Okay. Number three, if question anybody in authority, that
Mm,
means it's not like automatically doubt them, but ask why they think anything. If the guy knows what he's talking about, he'll be able to give you great answers to whatever doubts you might have. Okay. A guy who says, "Oh, just take my word for it. I'm a PhD from Harvard." He's bullshitting. He's bullshitting. Okay. Because the truth is always obvious and simple. Okay. And so if somebody says X, whatever it is, and you ask them, if they know what they're talking about and it's true, they will give you the explanation instantly. If they are bullshitting you, they're going to appeal to authority, appeal to their own authority or some other authority. Yeah. So always question authority. Okay. Question why somebody's saying something. Okay. Um, get in shape. That's something I deeply regret. When I was younger, I did not exercise as much as I should have, and I ate a lot of garbage, a lot of cheeseburgers, not enough broccoli. I wish I had taken better care of myself when I was younger and done more exercise and more physical activity. I tend to think that I would have also been a lot happier. I think that regular, strenuous physical exercise improves your mood. It's very obvious to me now. When I was young, 19, 22, whatever, I was an idiot in that regard. And I deeply regret that. And I think that a lot of guys, a lot of young guys, if they were, working out, you know, daily sweating at least 30 minutes. I mean, like really sweating. Doesn't matter the activity, running, weights, whatever. But they're sweating for 30 minutes every day. There would be a marked improvement in every area of their lives.
what do you do for self-care?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I watch my diet, and I'm actually in the process of losing some weight because I wasn't paying attention. And I started ballooning,
Mm.
and I'm pretty happy because in the last month or
How did you
so,
notice it? Was it you that noticed it, or was it people in the videos that said something in the comments to you?
oh no, I noticed it.
Yeah, you noticed it right away.
Yeah. And no, I've gone down what now about 8 kilos in the last month.
Mm.
8 kilos is what, about 20 pounds? Yeah. So
It's 2.2. Yeah.
yeah, and I do a lot of walking and I play squash. I mean, because wherever I am, I always have my office uh, between at least a kilometer away and not more than 2.5 kilometers away. And I walk that, never drive a car to work. And I play squash at least once a week. I play squash, and squash is a great sport. I mean, it really keeps. It's hard on the knees. That's the only problem with it, and my knees are starting to go. But it's a great cardio workout, and it's a very intense sport.
By the way, have you looked at using BPC 157 on your knees?
What's that? I have no idea what that is.
I'll link it for you in the chat afterwards, but it's a peptide. It works really well. I pretty much fixed my knee with it
Really?
a couple months ago. Yeah, yeah, I had a
Oh,
really
okay.
bad left knee. Like I wouldn't even be able to play squash before.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll fill you in afterwards. But okay, so that's the self-care. What about the conversation around money and finances? Like, what would you tell your boy?
I would tell him never go into debt, never go into student debt. Student debt takes, on average in the United States, it takes people 21 years to pay it off. The average student debt load today is $37,000.
Do you think university or college is worthwhile in North America for men?
No, no.
Waste of time.
A waste of time and money. They're
What should they
not
do
teaching you
instead?
anything. They're not teaching you anything. You can have a very fulfilling life without a university accreditation, a fulfilling and successful life. I think that um, I think it's bullshit that is being sold to young people who don't know any better. I think it's a catastrophe on a social level
Hmm.
because all these young people graduating with all this debt, they're unable to pursue the lives that they want to lead. They can't buy their first home until they're in their 30s. They can't start a family when they're young because they have this debt load. I think it's despicable what the educational establishments have done. And the only people who benefit are administrators and bankers. I
You know
personally have
what?
invested in
Yeah.
student bonds. It's a fantastic deal for investors, but shit for students.
No, it's a great deal. And one of the angles that financial institutions have had on student loans was to offer them other instruments like lines of credit, credit cards,
Yeah,
the first car loan, RSP loans.
yeah,
Because once they got them on the books on the banks, they know this 25-year-old's probably going to live to about whatever the average life expectancy is, 76, 82, I don't know.
yeah,
But they got them on the books for the while, right?
yeah,
Which means they've got them on the never-ending merry-go-round of debt, throwing interest payments off pretty much for the rest of their life. So I totally agree with that philosophy when it comes to education.
yeah.
What about money in general? So stay out of debt. What
Yeah.
about like as far as investing? What about having your money have sex with the money so that it reproduces itself?
Well, my thinking is that you should aim to save a quarter of your gross income, gross, not net. Because here's the thing that you discover fairly quickly once you get into the workforce. See that your lifestyle expands to however much income you have.
Hmm.
And so
If you don't
if you,
control it.
yeah, yeah. And so if you deliberately decide that your gross paycheck, you're going to put away a quarter of it. Okay, just put it away. Uh, you will quickly accrue a great deal of money. You will quickly put together a very nice nest egg, and you will not feel that you are depriving yourself of anything. Okay, that's the thing that, especially young guys, they don't quite realize because they figure, well, I need to. You don't need anything. You need very little. You know, always be thinking that you want to get stuff that's like, for instance, you want to get a car that's used because a new car, you drive it off the lot and lost a third of its value. What's the point of that? Okay, you always want to be thinking like, how can I put it? Any expense that you have, you want to make sure that it's worthwhile long term. Let me give you an example, a specific example. I purchased a motorcycle last year.
What kind of bike?
I got myself a Ducati Scrambler.
I was looking at those the other day.
Great,
Yeah, I was
great
looking at the
all
cafe
around.
racers in that series.
I'm not crazy about cafe racers because I like to sit upright,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But that's a
I was
personal.
always a sport bike guy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not crazy about sport bikes because they scare me. You
Yeah.
know.
No, I'm too old and bent out of shape to ride sport bikes now.
Yeah. But no. I had the opportunity to get myself a Ducati 999 sport bike. It was
Okay.
modified. It was incredibly fast. I took a spin around it. It scared the shit out of me. Life's too short, you know. No, it's no fun to
I
be
love
riding
those,
on a
man.
bike that scares you. No,
I
come
used,
on. You know?
Man, if it can't scare me, the minute that a car or a bike doesn't scare me, that's when I sell it. That's when I'm like, okay, we're
Well,
done here. This isn't fast enough.
no, my attitude is the complete opposite. I want to have a good time and I want to relax.
Yeah.
I don't want stress.
No, I
Okay.
love the adrenaline rush. Like that's my thing still.
Oh, okay. No, for me that's That for me, that's just over. I'm just not interested in that.
Yeah.
When I was like in my 20s, sure, but now I don't want to take it easy. I just want to relax.
There's a picture of you here on an electric motorcycle in
Oh
Amsterdam.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were test driving it. It's actually right around my house. Okay, and they were like letting anybody like test ride it. It was a lot
Yeah.
of fun, but it was like 14,000 euros, and I thought
Yeah,
that,
and you can buy a like motorcycle for peanuts.
yeah. Well, the thing is, the scrambler I got, right, it was a deal. It was 1 year old. It had less than 1,000 miles on it.
It's a triple eight V twin, right?
It's V twin, 862 cc's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and nice bike. It's a great all rounder.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the beauty of that bike. It just does everything very very well.
Can you ride it year round in Amsterdam? Like, do you get much snow in the wintertime?
Sure. Well, actually, there hasn't been any snow this winter here in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And no, I don't have it here. I have it in Ukraine. And
Okay.
the thing is, see, I bought it for $8,500, and it had, like I said, it was a year old with less than 1,000 miles on it. The new one, was 13,000. $4,500 difference, 50%, almost 50, actually more than 50% more than what I actually paid for it. If and when I get around to selling it, I put another couple of thousand miles on it. As a matter of fact, I've really hauled around on it. If I were to sell it, I could get at least $8,000 from it, at least. So basically, I've had a motorcycle for about a year.
Yeah, bikes are great transportation tools. I recommend like.
Oh no, I don't have it for transportation. I just do it for fooling around, right?
Oh, I used to use it for transportation. I mean, for me, like I'd use it to get groceries and everything when I was younger. But I think every young man needs to own a motorcycle. I think it's
Yeah.
like a rite of passage, like owning a horse would have been for a boy to a man like 300
Exactly.
years ago.
Yeah, they're great. But the point, see, it's as an investment. Would it be nicer to have gotten the new one? Yes. Would it have been nice enough to spend $4,500 more? No. And here's the key issue: the guy who bought it before, who bought it new and put less than 1,000 miles on it, he had to eat those $4,500.
No, I agree.
When I sell the bike, I'm gonna lose $500. Big deal. It cost me $500 to have a year-round on it, and that's assuming that that's the low end of the sale, because
Yeah, they're cheap
I
on
already talked
gas,
to the Ducati dealer.
cheap on insurance, cheap on maintenance. They're great. Everybody should have them at some
And
point.
the thing is, see, but this goes for everything: a car, a house, whatever. Okay, because a lot of times you get suckered in to buying things that you do not need, or you don't recognize that the depreciation of something is so high that it's not worth getting. And that's the thing: depreciation. Pay attention to the depreciation of anything, any asset that you buy. A lot of times kids don't pay attention because it's new, it's shiny. Can I get a Ferrari today? Yes. Would I get one? No, because the second I drive it off the lot, I'm going to lose $120,000. That would be crazy. Okay.
You get that with a McLaren, not with a Ferrari.
Well, I'm not so wealthy that I can afford to throw away, $120,000.
Yeah.
I don't think
there are
will
some cars that you can make some money on, but they're pretty few and far between, and they usually only offer those vehicles to lifelong customers of the brand.
Yeah.
Like there are Ferraris that you can buy that you can drive off the lot, and they're worth like $250,000 more than what you paid for it. But you had to buy 6 other Ferraris from the brand before they'd even offer it to you.
Yeah.
But yeah.